Y'all, I gotta say it. This was a banger. Today we're talking about Project Hail Mary. This is the new film starring the Goss Boss as well as Sandra Huller. I was actually pretty annoyed about this movie because I was seeing the trailer nonstop, but after seeing the ratings come out, I felt like I had to give it a chance. This movie was a ton of fun and I really enjoyed it. I feel like Ryan Gosling is one of those actors that brings a smile to everyone's faces. He knows how to bring genuine humor and charm, unlike another Ryan I know. And the other main character in this movie, Rocky, was so cute and adorable, and I fell in love with him immediately. The movie looked fantastic, even without using any green screen. I know this was based off a book, but the way that they laid out the story was perfect. I do feel it dragged on just a tiny bit at the end, but overall, just a fantastic film. I'm going to be getting into some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, make sure you skip to the last section of this video. Like I said, Ryan Gosling just has something about him that makes me want to see everything he's in. Ever since seeing him in The Nice Guys, I've always been excited for any comedy roles he's in. Now, the trailers didn't necessarily point to this being so comedic. I felt like there was a ton of jokes in here, a lot of physical humor, and I enjoyed it the entire way through. I also loved the character Rocky. I feel like you're limiting yourself with using something like a puppet, but they did an amazing job with getting the audience to fall in love with this puppet. My cat's freaking out because there's a lizard on the window. The bromance that's created between the two main characters was amazing, and I just wanted them to succeed no matter what. But this movie was not without stakes and consequences. I feel like the setup was really good, where you get thrown in and immediately know that something's going down. You've got the character Grace getting pulled from his boring middle school teacher job in order to help the governments of the world try to save it. I really like how the whole story was unraveled in a non-linear fashion, jumping from the present to a flashback while Grace kind of regathers his memories. But as you go through the movie, you learn that Grace really wasn't even supposed to be on this mission in the first place. I think it's really cool to see when characters that are normal people end up becoming heroes. And by the end of the movie, that's exactly what Grace and Rocky were. There was a scene where Rocky was trying to find a word for someone who is selfless. Grace tells him the word is brave, but the first word that came in my mind was hero. Their journey is very heroic, and it was awesome to watch. This movie also does a really good job at tugging at your heartstrings. Of course, they used Rocky as a way to do that. When he was there crawling and burning on the floor, it definitely got some tears out of my eyes. But it goes to show that if you just have really well-developed characters that you can attach an audience to, that just increases the quality of the entire film. Needless to say, I was super happy to see the duo succeed in the end, although I was a little annoyed that Grace had found his ticket home, but now something else happens to where he has to go back. This one has more of an ambiguous ending where you're not really sure if Grace wants to go back to Earth. Again, I didn't read the book, so I'm not 100% sure if this matched up one-to-one with that. But overall, I feel that the movie was beautiful and fun and a joy to watch. The last thing I'll touch on here is the visuals. Now, I love space movies, one of my favorite being Interstellar. And just like Interstellar, there was a lot accomplished here without using a ton of green screen or VFX. I feel like there's still a place in modern filmmaking for practical effects. This movie did not look dated. It did not look bad because of practical effects. I actually think that it elevated the quality. When you look at shows like Stranger Things, where it's shot 99% on green screen, you can really see the love and attention that was placed into the visual design and practical effects of this film. To sum up, this was an absolute win for me. I mean, I enjoyed this way more than I thought I was going to. Even my small gripe about the end dragging on a little bit is nothing compared to the fun that I had with this one. I gave this one a 4.5 on Letterboxd. Speaking of Letterboxd, normally I take their ratings with a grain of salt because that site is full of haters, but this movie actually had 4.4 on Letterboxd the last time I looked. If that doesn't tell you something, then I don't know what will. I do want to know from the people that read the book, how well did the movie match what was in the novel? Sometimes I know movies kind of take liberties, and I am curious to know if they did a good job here. For everyone else, definitely let me know what you thought here. I don't see how anyone could dislike this movie, but if any of you are out there, I want to hear from you. As always, I appreciate those of you that have watched to the end of this video, and make sure that you argue with me in the comments.